Hi everyone and welcome back to my corner and meeting with Malin. We are in Hamburg for the Lgct and we're having great sport here. Yesterday's big class was won after an amazing jump off by the Swiss Pio Schwitzer. And our first guest today was actually fifth in that class with a new mount. Please welcome probably the best lady rider ever, Meredith Michaels-Beerbaum. Hi Meredith.
Hi Malin.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you for the nice introduction.
It's nice, no? It's true, no?
No, I think we both share that compliment.
Well, you have a lot more victories than I do.
Oh,
that's for sure.
well.
So you are German, you live in Germany, but originally you're a California girl that
That's
studied politics. What happened?
I don't know, I kind of lost my way somewhere along the way. No, actually I thought I would one day go into politics, in fact international politics, but then I came to Europe and I discovered the sport here, met my husband, and I haven't gone home since.
No, that's true. And do you miss the politics?
Not particularly. I actually enjoy show jumping much more.
Okay, that's good. So you have won so many medals and so many big victories. You were world number one for a long, long time. What made you the best?
Well, I think there's no question that my horses made me the best. Without those horses, I would never have achieved what I did achieve. Horses like Shutterfly, Checkmate, Le Mans, Stella, Just Do It. I mean, the list is so long. I've been so fortunate to have wonderful horses my whole career, and it's just made jumping so much fun.
And talking about Shutterfly, that's probably the one we connect you the most with. What is he doing now?
Well, he's having a great life. He's at our farm. He looks amazing. He goes out every day in the big field behind our farm with my daughter's pony.
Who's the boss out of the two of them?
Oh, definitely the pony. But he's a wonderfully sweet horse, and we're just so happy that he's in good condition and can enjoy his life.
And I could ask, do you miss him? But I'm sure you miss him in the sport. But you have a lot of new horses now, new younger horses. Do you see any one of them becoming the new Shutterfly?
Well, it's funny that you ask, because every new horse that comes in the stable is always compared to the great Shutterfly. Yeah. So it's always something like, well, this one has this a little bit like Shutterfly, and this one does this a little bit like Shutterfly. So we hope one day, but I think that horse is irreplaceable. There will never be another Shutterfly, but I'm delighted with my new string of great horses anyway.
Yeah, and you're riding a Swedish horse. You call him Fibonacci. We called him Fendi when he was in Sweden. How is he?
He's great. He's actually a wonderful, wonderful horse, and I think a great talent. And we do compare him a little bit to Shutterfly because he's very, very sensitive, particularly in the warm-up ring. He's very sensitive to noise, people, other horses, very spooky. So all those things are quite like Shutterfly. He's only 10 years old, which is young for this sport. Yeah. So I think it will take some years to get him where I exactly want him, but he's jumping so beautifully now and proving that he could be one of the best one day.
And he's actually jumping the Grand Prix tomorrow. What do you think? Do you have a chance?
I sure hope so. He went great in Madrid. He was clear in the first round in Madrid, which was very, very difficult at the Global Champions Tour there, and there were only 4 clears. I think he likes big grass fields. He was great in Aachen last year. Yeah. So I'm hoping for the best.
That's good. You call him Nacho.
Yes,
that's a bit weird.
Yes, that's a funny name, and it was given to him by my daughter, who's 5 now. When she said, his name is Fibonacci, then she said, well, why don't we call him Nacho in the stable for a short name? So that sort of fits him, and he's a funny character, so he likes his name, I think.
Oh, that's good. That's good. What would you say is the biggest difference between living in Europe and doing the sport and America?
The sport is completely different here. One of the biggest differences is that in America you usually stay in one place and show, for instance, like in Wellington, Florida, for months. Here we move around every week. We go to a new city around the world. There's a lot of traveling involved, but it's really nice to see different cities around the world, and every show has its own flavor. And in America you do a lot of basing in one place. That's a good facility, not moving, and that's quite nice if you have a family. That works out actually quite well.
Yeah. So we have few new superstars in the sport like Scott and Daniel, a bit younger than us anyway. Right. But who would be the next lady coming up, being the number one?
That's really hard. I think there have been some great lady riders now that have made it into the top 10. I think at one point we even had 5 women in the top 10. So there are a lot of great riders coming up from every country. I mean, we see here in Hamburg some great young riders like Laura Klapaker and Katja Luthi. They're all, just out of young riders, and they show great promise. They have good backgrounds and a very good string of horses, so maybe one day they might make it.
And your daughter Brianne?
Well, she loves horses, but she's far away from this sport. She's just started some riding lessons, and she loves horses, but we'll see. Maybe she'll do something else.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, please stay. We're going to welcome our next guest. He's the world number 2, Germany's Daniel Deusser. Hi, Deusser.
Hi, Malin. How are you doing?
Good. So you were world number 1 for 1 month. Wasn't that a bit short?
Yeah, to be honest, no, it was a nice experience to be world number 1. I would have liked to stay a little bit longer, but the sport is hard, and Scott and Sanctus are difficult to beat. Yeah.
And are you gonna go back soon up there, or?
I hope. I had 1 or 2 horses injured, which are coming back now. So I hope in the next couple of months I have a few Grand Prix horses, and then of course I'm going to try to have better results than the last month.
Okay, that's good. You actually became a father not long ago to a daughter, Stella. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
How old is she?
She's today exactly 3 months old.
3 months. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How would you describe yourself as a father?
Okay, I think I'm a good father. I'm trying to be a good father, and to be all of a sudden a father is a big change in your life.
Yeah.
Before I would have never imagined that it changes me so much, but to have a beautiful little child at home, it's a difference. And even if we have a fantastic show here in Hamburg, I'm now already looking forward to go back home on Saturday night.
And you're actually quite much like a kid yourself. That's maybe good. Or
yeah,
isn't
Malin, thank you.
I think so.
I know. Okay, we'll leave that subject. I know you're a great fan of John Whittaker. What makes him so good?
What makes him so good? Remembering my first big horse shows as a kid, when I went with my father to the big horse shows, there were always 2 couples which I liked to see. It was always Walzer König and Franke Slodak, and then of course Milton and John Whittaker. When we went to international shows, I didn't know much more than Milton and John. And I remember having all the videos at home. It was just a great couple, and absolutely a perfect horseman, and it was nice to see and also learn a lot from him.
Yeah. Who here has actually ridden Milton? Raise a hand. Yeah, lucky me. No, that was special. Sorry. So you moved out of Germany. You moved into Germany. You moved out of Germany. First Holland, and now Belgium. How come?
How come? For me, it was actually, I always found a good opportunity to have a good job with horses, to get good horses. I started in Germany with Franke Slotak, found then a job with Jan Tops in Holland, and finally I moved to Belgium 3 years ago to the Stefek stables and Stefan Conter. And
do you miss having your own place and running your own thing?
In the moment, not, to be honest. I was thinking about it a couple of years ago, but if I think back in the evaluation and everything that happened, I'm very happy to be at Stefek stables now. I get, or I have the opportunity to have my own stable, to have a group of my own horses, which I'm the only one who rides them, and it feels a little bit like being by myself.
Yeah. Okay. We actually had a question from on our homepage, Facebook page, H&M We Love Horses, and that's, how does a normal day look like? What does it look like? What do you do a normal day at home?
Well, there is no normal day. That's the first thing. Every day is different because every day involves getting ready for a new show somewhere else in the world. But as normal as it could be, I would say, is getting up early with my daughter, taking her to school in the morning, which was one of my favorite things of the entire day, and then coming back and riding my horses, making an American lunch for my German husband, and then organizing some things in the office, and then picking up my daughter and taking her either to one of the things she likes to do, either to a swim lesson, a tennis lesson, or even a riding lesson, and spending the evening at home, once again cooking, which is one of my favorite things to do. And so that would be a Monday through Wednesday normal day.
Dyson?
To come back to your point that I'm also still a kid, I wake up and try to play a little bit kid with my daughter. So far she doesn't go to school or she doesn't have any hobbies or anything like that. So finished with that, I go to the stable, ride my horses, and like Meredith said, we try to prepare the horses for the next weekend.
Yeah.
Most of the time the day is finished as quick as you cannot even believe it.
Yeah.
And then we try to go home and spend, of course, the rest of the evening with the family at home.
Okay, good. So we all love horses, and the horse I picked for today is probably the horse that wins the most at the moment. We're going to watch a video from him. It's Hello Sanctus with Scott Brash. Deusser, what can you say?
What can I say about Sanctus? Like I mentioned before, Sanctus is probably a horse of the century, a horse that's is not born every year or every couple of years. I compare Sanctus a little bit, like I said before, like John Whittaker, Milton, like Franke Slodak, Walzer König, or also like Meredith and Shutterfly a couple of years ago. We don't only have a good horse and only have a good rider, we have a perfect match together. And like you see also here in the jump-offs, they understand each other blind in the turns to know how fast you can go against the fences. And at the end, both of them, they know each other so perfect. Sanctus is very clever in the ring that at the end they win more than all the other ones.
Yeah, Meredith, would you like to ride him?
Well, that's an interesting question because I think the horse is a great horse, like Daniel said, and I even knew the horse when he was young, with my friend Peter Wild, who is the one who discovered the horse and won his first Grand Prix at age 8 with Peter. But he isn't really my type of horse, you know. I think he's very strong, he's powerful, but I think he would be too much horse for me. He's kind of big and bulky, and although I like watching him, I'm not sure I would like riding him.
Okay, we often talk about the perfect horse, but what is the perfect rider? We see all different types. I mean, we're not very tall, you're quite tall. We have even taller riders, bigger riders, men, women, young, old. What is the perfect rider?
That's a very difficult question. I think the perfect rider doesn't exist in that way.
I thought you were going to say yourself.
No, Malin. I'm sorry. No, like I said, the size is a big difference between Meredith and me, for example. Maybe she fits better on a few blood horses. I fit better on a few bigger horses that are a little bit slower. At the end, you have to grow together with your horse to compete and to win the biggest classes. You have to know each other very good. And of course, every rider needs a very good and clever horse in the ring.
Okay, good. So we're nearly done. We just have the famous question helmet coming up. You ready for this?
Yep, we're ready.
Hold that. So what you have to do now is pick a question. Meredith, you go first. We have 4 subjects.
Okay.
It's love, fashion, celebrities, and food. Oh, of course. Of course, love, number 2. Let's see. The question then is, what connection do I have with the U2 music group? This is about love.
Love. What connection
Do I? No, I.
Oh,
Malin
you.
Baryard, me.
Malin Baryard.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking me. Okay.
What connection do you have with them? No, what
What
connection do I have?
connection do you have with them? Bono is your father?
My husband wishes he was, I guess. No, I actually got engaged at their hotel in Dublin with my husband.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Daniel, pick a question.
These are difficult. Wow. You should have warned me. I could have looked up some facts.
Oh, celebrities. Question.
Celebrities 1.
Question number 1. What is the name of Prince William and Kate's newborn baby?
Question number 2, please.
It's a girl.
It's not Stella. That's a good question.
It is a good question. Her name is Princess Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Yeah, so you learned something new today. Thank you very much for
We
coming.
learned a lot.
You learned a lot new today. Thank you both for coming, and thank you all for watching. We are back tomorrow, and we're going to meet with Nicola Philipparts and Edwina Tops Alexander. Don't miss that. See you.